Jamie Lee Curtis has just confirmed the complex truth about her father, Hollywood legend Tony Curtis, a man whose life behind the scenes was as turbulent as his rise to fame was spectacular. Beneath his Hollywood charm lay deep personal struggles, including battles with addiction, fractured family ties, and a final will that disinherited his children and sparked a bitter family feud. As Jamie Lee opens up about her father's legacy, she tells a story of resilience, heartbreak, and the human cost of fame that reshapes how we remember Tony Curtis and his lasting impact. Tony Curtis, born Bernard Schwartz on June 3, 1925 in the Bronx, New York City, faced numerous hardships during his early life. His parents, Helen and Emanuel Schwartz, were Hungarian Jewish immigrants who struggled to make ends meet. The family lived in poverty, and young Tony, along with his brothers Julius and Robert, often went hungry. These difficult circumstances had a profound impact on Curtis's life and shaped his determination to succeed. Tragically, when Curtis was just 12 years old, his younger brother Julius died after being hit by a truck. This devastating loss further compounded the family's emotional and financial struggles. Despite these challenges, Curtis remained focused on finding a way out of his impoverished circumstances. He attended Seward Park High School but faced frequent bullying due to his family's poverty and his Jewish heritage. Curtis found solace in movies, dreaming of a life beyond the hardships he endured. At the age of 16, Curtis joined a neighborhood gang seeking protection and camaraderie. However, his life took a pivotal turn when he enlisted in the United States Navy during World War II. Inspired by the likes of Cary Grant and Tyrone Power, Curtis served aboard the USS Proteus, a submarine tender, until the end of the war. This experience not only provided him with an escape from his troubled past, but also instilled in him a sense of discipline and purpose. Upon his return from the war, Curtis was determined to pursue his dream of becoming an actor. He studied at the dramatic workshop of the New School in New York City, honing his craft under the tutelage of the influential German director Erwin Piscator. It was during this time that Curtis caught the attention of Joyce Selznick, a prominent talent agent who recognized his potential and helped him secure a contract with Universal Pictures. As Curtis made his way to Hollywood, he shed his birth name and adopted the stage name Tony Curtis, a nod to the novel Anthony Adverse and a maternal family name, Kurtz. His striking good looks and undeniable charisma quickly earned him a place among the emerging stars of the era, such as Rock Hudson and James Best. Curtis's early roles in films like Criss Cross, 1949, and City Across the River, 1949, showcased his magnetic screen presence, setting the stage for his meteoric rise to stardom. Throughout the 1950s, Curtis's career soared with the iconic film The Prince Who Was a Thief, 1951, cementing his status as a leading man. He went on to star in numerous successful films, including Houdini, 1953, Trapeze, 1956, and Sweet Smell of Success, 1957. His versatility as an actor was evident in his ability to tackle both dramatic and comedic roles with equal aplomb. However, behind the glitz and glamour of his Hollywood persona, Curtis's personal life was far from perfect. In 1951, he married actress Janet Leigh, forming one of the most iconic couples of the era. Together, they had two daughters, Kelly and Jamie Lee Curtis, who would later follow in their famous parents' footsteps. Despite their picture-perfect image, cracks began to appear in their marriage, and the couple divorced in 1962. Curtis's personal struggles extended beyond his tumultuous marriages. He battled with substance abuse, particularly during the 1970s and 1980s as his career began to decline. His dependency on alcohol and drugs took a toll on his health and professional prospects. In 1984, Curtis's addiction reached a critical point when he was rushed to the hospital with advanced cirrhosis. This harrowing experience served as a wake-up call, prompting him to seek treatment at the Betty Ford Clinic and commit to sobriety. Despite these challenges, Curtis managed to stage a remarkable resurgence in his later years. He garnered critical acclaim for his chilling portrayal of Albert DeSalvo in the 1968 film The Boston Strangler, reminding audiences of his immense talent. Curtis also found solace in his lifelong passion for painting, dedicating more time to his artwork as his acting career slowed down. His paintings were exhibited in prestigious galleries, and he found a new sense of purpose and fulfillment through his creative endeavors. Tony Curtis has passed away in 2010 due to cardiac arrest. His sixth and final wife, Jill Vandenberg Curtis, discussed her late husband's life, legacy.
Just a great down-to-earth guy. He loved all of his fans, and I just really appreciate everybody who's been contacting us. I know Tony would appreciate to know that everybody around the world that's loved him all these years still loves him and will always think of him. And he died peacefully here, surrounded by those who love him and have been caring for him. In his bedroom, in his, where he loved to be and hang out. And I'm very happy for that. I'm very happy we made the decision to bring him home from the hospital and let him be here at home and be peaceful. And he fell asleep, and he passed in his sleep.
How's his health been the last few months or so?
Well, he's been in and out of the hospital. Tony had COPD and very bad lung problems from smoking. About 30 years ago he quit, but his lungs never worked the way they should have. And so he always was fighting that. And his heart survived things that Tony would always say would have killed an ordinary man. And that's absolutely true. But this time his heart was ready to go and be at peace.
What was he most proud of among all the accomplishments that he had?
I think being a painter. And all Tony ever wanted to be was a movie star. Didn't want to be, the most dramatic actor, and he wanted to be a movie star ever since he was a little kid. It was Tony. They don't make people like Tony anymore. And
have you heard from Jamie or any of the family yet? What did they say?
I spoke to some of the kids last night, and my family's flying in to come and be with us. So all of his friends and family are going to be around, those that love him and have been caring for him the last few years.
How do you think he wants to be remembered?
I think Tony would want to be remembered as a nice guy, a kind person, a funny guy, someone who worked very hard his whole life, had great drive. And one thing Tony always said, there was a quote that he always loved, and he said, "God is great, he won't hurt us, 'cause he looks like Tony Curtis." And so I guess now he knows how he looks, and I'm sure he's happy to see that. I just want to say thanks for...
Thank you. We didn't want to knock on the door, obviously, but we did want to get a nice tribute out for him because...
He deserves it. Tony deserves it. He didn't get all of the acclaim that he should have gotten throughout his life, and I know Tony's had some personal problems and things, but haven't we all?
Yeah.
And in the end, his kindness and generosity and gentle spirit prevailed over everything. And that's how I think he should be remembered. A good friend and a good husband.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you, guys.
However, the final years of Curtis's life were marred by a bitter family feud over his estate. When he passed away in 2010, it was revealed that he had made the controversial decision to disinherit all his children in his will, leaving his entire estate to his sixth and final wife, Jill Vandenberg Curtis. This DEI closure sent shockwaves through the family, with Curtis's children, particularly his daughter Allegra, openly expressing their hurt and anger over the situation. Allegra Curtis criticized Jill Vandenberg Curtis for her handling of their father's estate, particularly her decision to auction off his personal belongings and memorabilia. Allegra argued that these items held deep sentimental value and should have remained within the family. The dispute escalated into a legal battle, with Allegra and her sister Kelly challenging the validity of the will. They claimed that their father was not of sound mind when he made the decision, and that undue influence may have played a role. However, despite their efforts, the court ultimately upheld the will, leaving Jill Vandenberg Curtis as the sole beneficiary. Amidst the family turmoil, Jamie Lee Curtis, Tony Curtis's daughter from his marriage to Janet Lee, remained notably silent on the matter of the inheritance. Unlike her half-sisters, Jamie Lee did not contest the will or publicly express any resentment toward her father's decision. In fact, she appeared to have come to terms with the complexities of her relationship with her father long before his passing. Jamie Lee Curtis, who had achieved significant success in her own acting career, had spoken candidly about the challenges of growing up in the shadow of her famous parents. While she acknowledged the impact of their fame on her life and career, she also emphasized her own hard work and dedication in establishing herself as a respected actress. In recent years, Jamie Lee has addressed the topic of nepotism in Hollywood, often referred to as the Nepo baby phenomenon. In a 2023 interview, Jamie Lee Curtis reflected on the role her parents' fame played in her own success, stating, "I have not shied away from it. I am not under any delusion that it hasn't had an effect and an impact." However, she also asserted her own merits and accomplishments, saying, "At the end of the day, none of that helps you when they say rolling and action." Jamie Lee's candid and balanced perspective on the Nepo baby debate showcased her self-awareness and determination to be recognized for her own talents and hard work. As the dust settled on the inheritance controversy, the focus shifted to the enduring legacy of Tony Curtis. Despite his personal struggles and the complexities of his family life, Curtis's impact on Hollywood remains undeniable. His performances in classic films like Some Like It Hot, 1959, and Spartacus, 1960, continue to captivate audiences, while his off-screen persona and tumultuous personal life have become the stuff of Hollywood legend. From his humble beginnings in the Bronx to his meteoric rise to fame, Curtis's journey was marked by both incredible highs and devastating lows. His struggles with addiction, failed marriages, and family conflicts paint a picture of a man grappling with the pressures of celebrity and the toll it can take on personal relationships. Yet, through it all, Curtis's talent and charisma shone through. His performances left a lasting mark on the film industry, and his influence can still be felt in the work of the many actors who have followed in his footsteps. Even in his later years, as he battled health issues and faced the challenges of aging, Curtis remained a beloved figure, celebrated for his contributions to the world of entertainment. The revelations made by Jamie Lee Curtis in the wake of her father's passing offer a glimpse into the complex family dynamics that shaped the lives of Tony Curtis's children. While the inheritance controversy and the Nepo baby debate may have garnered headlines, they ultimately showcase deeply personal struggles that often lie beneath the surface of Hollywood glamour. In the end, the legacy of Tony Curtis is one that will continue to inspire and captivate audiences for generations to come. His films, his artwork, and the impact on popular culture serve as a symbol of his enduring talent and the resilience of the human spirit. As his daughter Jamie Lee Curtis so eloquently put it, "My father leaves behind a legacy of great performances in movies and in his paintings and assemblages. He leaves behind children and their families who loved him and respected him, and a wife and in-laws who were devoted to him. He also leaves behind fans all over the world." The country music world has long been captivated by the one-of-a-kind persona of Willie Nelson, but the legendary singer and songwriter has recently unveiled a shocking revelation that has left his legions of fans and industry peers utterly stunned.
I would say Willie Nelson is most well known for being Willie Nelson.
He is one of the greats, and he really led the charge in the freedom for artists to do what they want to do.
But more than that, he's a huge figure in American popular culture right now. Willie Nelson is a household name to anybody.
He really was one of the first ones to kind of stand up and say no to the industry in Nashville, and that we're going to do it our way. The thing about Willie is that his type of music still influences people today.
The man is huge. While he's not a one-name success like Fabian or Elvis or, say, Jesus, he is a two-name success. Everyone knows who Willie Nelson is. And I've never met anybody that when the name Willie Nelson is broached said anything bad. Not once.
Nelson's journey from a small-town Texas boy to one of the most recognizable and influential figures in American music is a tale of resolute determination, artistic innovation, and a steadfast commitment to staying true to oneself. Born on April 29, 1933 in the tiny town of Abbott, Texas, Nelson was raised by his devoted grandparents during the hard years of the Great Depression.
Willie Nelson's life is much like one of his great country music songs. Lots of tall tales with a fair share of heartbreak. Born during the Depression, Willie was raised on a farm by his grandparents in Abbott, Texas. He and his older sister, Bobby, came from humble beginnings, but their grandparents provided a loving environment, encouraging music, family, and faith.
On the road again.
Willie had a wanderlust spirit, in search of work and adventure, sometimes as a disc jockey or a musician, even selling encyclopedias door to door. But it was music that had always protected him and eventually would provide for him. Willie got his first taste of success in Nashville selling songs.
His grandparents had a musical background, and Nelson has described them as dedicated musical teachers. They encouraged Willie and his sister to play and learn, going so far as to order musical books from Chicago. It was this early exposure to music, coupled with his grandfather's guitar lessons, that laid the foundation for what would become Nelson's extraordinary career.
How and why did you become a musician?
Well, I've always loved music, and I grew up with, my sister Bobby played piano, and so I started sitting on the piano stool with her while she was playing. And at the same time, my granddad gave me an old harmony guitar, so I started trying to play what she was playing. But I've been writing poems since I was 7 or 8 years old.
You remember the first poem you wrote?
Yeah. What are you looking at me for? I ain't got nothing to say.
As a young boy, Nelson's natural talent and restless spirit were already apparent. He wrote his first song at the age of 7 and joined his first band, the Bohemian Polka, when he was just 9 years old. "I don't know where I'd have gone if I could have," Nelson said, "but I had the itch early on the itch to look beyond the end of the road." After a brief stint in the U.S. Air Force and a brief enrollment at Baylor University, Nelson's musical aspirations led him to the country music capital of Nashville in 1960. It was there that he would hone his craft, forging close relationships with other songwriters and artists. "I never was a natural fit for the traditional Nashville country music mold," Nelson admitted. "Whenever producers tried to make me fit, they only succeeded in stripping away the qualities that made me unique, such as my unusual manner of phrasing." This unwavering commitment to his own artistic vision would later become a defining characteristic of the outlaw country movement that he helped spearhead. Nelson's songs, including the now classics Crazy, Funny How Time Slips Away, and Hello Walls, found great success when recorded by other artists. However, his own recording career struggled to gain traction during the 1960s, leading him to a point of near retirement in 1970. Nelson recalled, "One night I got so down on myself that I lay down in the middle of the street in front of Tootsie's Orchid Lounge in Nashville and waited for a car to come by and run me over. When no cars came along for quite a while, it occurred to me that there was no one to blame for this sorry situation other than myself." Fortunately, Nelson's fortunes would soon change. In 1972, he moved to the vibrant music scene of Austin, Texas, where he found a renewed sense of purpose and artistic inspiration. The burgeoning hippie music scene rejuvenated the singer. His popularity in Austin soared as he played his own brand of country music, marked by country, folk, and jazz influences. It was during this time that Nelson would forge a close friendship with fellow outlaw country star Chris Christopherson. The two artists had crossed paths in the 1960s, but it was in the 1970s that their bond truly blossomed. "I think I was different from the other guys and that I came in as a fan of all of them," Christopherson told the AP in 2005. "I respected them when I was still in the Army. When I went to Nashville, they were like major heroes to me because they took music seriously. Being recorded by them, being friends with them, and working alongside them felt unreal. It was like seeing my face on Mount Rushmore.
For those of us who are a certain kind of songwriter, Willie Nelson's always been a symbol of the finest of the spirit, of the freedom we believed in. And he was our hero, and he never let us down. And so it's a great pleasure for me to be working with him on the show.
The formation of the supergroup The Highwaymen, which also included Johnny Cash and Waylon Jennings, marked a pivotal moment in the careers of both Nelson and Kristofferson. When I look back now, I know Willie says it was the best time of his life, Kristofferson reflected. For me, I wish I had been more aware of how short that time would be. It was several years, but it felt like the blink of an eye. I wish I had cherished each moment. Tragically, Kristofferson's life ended in 2024 when he passed away at the age of 88. Nelson, as the sole surviving member of the Highwaymen, has now broken his silence on the matter, revealing a shocking truth about his dear friend. "There's no better songwriter alive than Kris Kristofferson," Nelson said at a 2009 BMI Award ceremony for Kristofferson. "Everything he writes is a standard, and we're all just going to have to live with that." Despite the profound grief he's endured, Nelson remains steadfast in his commitment to preserving the memory and the music of his dear friend, Nelson Syed. "Just like half of the world, I was lucky enough to work with Kris. He was a poet, truly inside and out, and a damn good actor. His screen presence was remarkable. Working with Kris was one of the highlights of my life," acclaimed director Martin Scorsese shared. "Working with him was one of the highlights of my life." Despite the challenges he faced, including a highly publicized battle with the IRS in the 1990s, Willie Nelson remained steadfast in his commitment to his craft and his social activism. In 1990, the IRS seized most of Nelson's assets, claiming that he owed $32 million in unpaid taxes. The difficulty of paying his outstanding debt was aggravated by weak investments he had made during the 1980s. However, Nelson refused to be deterred, releasing the IRS tapes, "Who'll Buy My Memories," as a double album with all profits destined for the IRS. Many of his assets were auctioned and purchased by friends who donated or rented his possessions to him for a nominal fee. Nelson eventually cleared his debts by 1993. Throughout the 1990s and 2000s, Nelson continued to tour extensively and release new music, exploring a wide range of genres, from reggae and blues to jazz and folk. His 2010 album, Country Music, a compilation of standards produced by T-Bone Burnett, was nominated for a Grammy Award for Best Americana Album. In addition to his musical achievements, Nelson has also made a significant impact as an activist, co-founding the Farm Aid organization in 1985 to support American family farmers. Along with Neil Young and John Mellencamp, he set up Farm Aid in 1985 to assist and increase awareness of the importance of family farms. After Bob Dylan's comments during the Live Aid concert that he hoped some of the money would help American farmers in danger of losing their farms through mortgage debt. Nelson's advocacy for the legalization of marijuana has also been a prominent part of his public persona. He is a co-chair of the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws, NORML Advisory Board, and has been a vocal proponent of cannabis reform for decades. After his arrest for possession of marijuana in 2010, Nelson created the Teapot Party under the motto, "Tax it, regulate it, and legalize it." Nelson's commitment to social and environmental causes has earned him widespread respect and admiration, both within the music industry and among the general public. In 2010, Nelson received the Feed the Peace Award from the Nobelity Project for his extensive work with Farm Aid and overall contributions to world peace. Nelson's legacy as a trailblazer and a cultural icon has been further cemented by the numerous accolades and honors he has received over the course of his career. In 1993, he was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame, and in 1998, he received the prestigious Kennedy Center Honors. In 2011, Nelson was inducted into the National Agricultural Hall of Fame for his work with Farm Aid. And in 2015, he was awarded the Gershwin Prize, the Lifetime Achievement Award of the Library of Congress. Willie Nelson has also released his latest album, Last Leaf on the Tree. The 153rd record in the legendary singer's extensive catalog, this new offering has been hailed as a poignant and introspective addition to Nelson's musical legacy. At the age of 91, Nelson continues to defy expectations, proving that his creative spark and musical virtuosity remain as strong as ever. Last Leaf on the Tree released on the 1st of November. Songs from his new album Last Leaf on the Tree, his 153rd record. Willie Nelson re-released the 152nd album just 6 months ago in May. At the age of 91, he is still one of the most prolific musicians out there, simultaneously a pillar of American culture and an icon in the counterculture. Canadian radio personality Matt Galloway noted,
his new album, Last Leaf on the Tree, his 153rd record. Willie Nelson released the 152nd album just 6 months ago in May. At the age of 91, he is still one of the most prolific musicians out there, simultaneously a pillar of American culture and an icon in the counterculture.
The album's title track, Last Leaf on the Tree, serves as a metaphorical reflection on Nelson's own journey, as the last leaf standing in the wake of the passing of his dear friend and fellow highwayman Chris Christopherson, who died September 28, 2024. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos.